In order to do that, the first prerequisite is I've got to have an ISO file already made containing that system. We've got that already. Remember, we put that in our file system under root. So here it is. This is a PC Linux OS backup made on the 21st of August 2012 in a 1.1 gigabyte ISO file containing a lot of my favorite things, containing a generally attractive arrangement of Linux that runs well on this computer and presumably would run well on computers that are similar to this one. So that is ready to go. The next step is to buy a USB thumb drive or USB flash drive. These are available from retailers all over the world now. They're inexpensive. I have one here that's 8 gigabytes in size. I'm now going to plug it into an available USB port and take a look at it. Plugging in. Linux should detect it. There it is. This is it, USB 2.0 FD. 3 actions for this device include the possibility of open with file manager. Here it is, this USB 2.0 FD or flash drive, and this blank area indicates that it's entirely blank. Now, that's going to be handy. However, I happen to know that these drives tend to come with formatting in the old FAT32 style, and that's not compatible with what we want to do. In order to put Linux on here, I need to reformat that with a Linux compatible file system. I do that with this icon here entitled Configure Your Computer. Left click. It demands my root password, which I'm entering now. This, of course, was established when I first created this Linux system. Then prominent among the menu choices is this one called Local Disks. I'm clicking on Local Disks and then going to Manage Disk Partitions. This will show me the 3 different disks that Linux has detected on this system: SDA, SDB, and SDC. We've already talked about SDA, which is my old Windows partition, Windows disk, that we've left alone in all this discussion. We've already talked about SDB. That's my new USB external hard drive on which we installed the Linux that we're using. This SDC is new. That's our new USB 2.0 flash drive, 7.5 gigabytes. It has just one partition on it, illustrated here, and we can see by clicking on it, that partition has been formatted as we suspected using the FAT32 file system. That's not what we want. So I need to delete that partition. Before I can delete it, since it's been mounted, it is already available as an active file system, I need to make it inactive or unmounted. That's done with this button here called Unmount. Click. It's now unmounted, and I can now select that partition and delete it. I now have just empty, uncommitted space of 7.5 gigabytes. In that space, I now want to create a single partition, create, using the journalized FS ext4 file system. I could choose other file systems, but I like the ext4. That's a modern Linux file system that's good for this late version of Linux. It asks me if I want to mount it. I don't want to mount it. I'm just going to format that by clicking OK. I'm just going to create the partition by clicking OK. Now we've got a partition that has been created for the ext4 file system, but is not yet formatted. The next step is obviously to format it by clicking this button right here, Format. It says, warning, I'm going to write a new partition table on that drive. That's what I want. I'm clicking OK, and we'll wait just a moment while that partition is formatted. 7.5 gigabytes formatted using ext4 should only take a minute or two, so we'll just wait while that goes. It's normal to see this bar rapidly advancing from left to right a couple of times during this operation. Formatting is like creating index marks all over a disk. It helps the operating system in subsequent operations to find files and resources stored there. Okay, it's done. It says it's been formatted. That meets the prerequisites. Now my thumb drive is in place, formatted, and ready for use. I'm going to click Done here and close out the PC Linux OS Control Center.